KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're
the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now, 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack!
Every week, it's the same thing.
Every
In
week.
stereo.
But, today's something new, though. Today's something new.
I
Want to know why?
participate.
Because it's Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Yeah.
Gosh, you get that 39 mark.
Yes.
That's a pivotal time.
39.
Well, happy birthday there, young man.
Yes, thank
You probably had a lot of things, but you've probably never been sung happy birthday on air.
That is true.
Yes.
It is
you
a
see, it's the
first.
first time for everything.
It is a first.
So
Just
warning to future guests.
just being with
and-
you
and
guys
anchors.
is, happy birthday enough.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
If you're listening, Kim and the kids, that's a lie.
Before we get started, we've got some rock stars from that 20 under 40 NRG group from
That
the
is
Houston
correct.
Association of Realtors. But I want to talk about Sunshine Kids. That is a great charity we've supported, and Chris, you have really stepped up. You've given a lot of money to Sunshine Kids. But next Saturday at Mancuso Harley Davidson, we did this last year, the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue.
Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue.
It'll be at, let's see, it says 4436 Telephone Road, and it starts probably around 11.
Right.
So come on out, have some barbecue, look at the motorcycles, spend a lot of money, donate to Sunshine Kids, and we'd appreciate it.
Well, it starts at 11 because it takes us a little while to get over there from the studio, right?
Yes.
Because the party really doesn't begin until we arrive.
It does not. And I don't think they'll be ready for us until they said that.
Or the cops, which
One of the
always a
two.
toss-up.
They said that would be the perfect time to show up because I said we have to do the show and then we, have a little, parlay after the show and then probably 11 o'clock. They said that's perfect.
So
we've been
you're making all these
stuff.
big words, parlay. Come
Parlay.
on.
I got that from Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's a French party.
Anyway, anyhow, moving on.
We know how to parlay.
Yes.
There's a parlay
It's the
going
Real
on up in
Estate
this
Rat
place.
Pack parlay.
Already our guests in the studios are getting the same stunned look that a lot of the guests get. It's like, what did I get myself into? So
They don't even know.
I have no
it's
idea.
It's just beginning right
it's
now.
just fun. But anyway, again, this is two great realtors from the 20 under 40 group, which is a great honor that HAR pursues, and it's a very competitive honor. There's had like 89 applications this year, and 20 get it. So, and first up is Hillary Chung.
Good
Hillary, how
morning.
you doing?
I'm doing wonderful this morning. Thank you for having me.
And tell us who you're with.
I work for Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty.
And tell me, we spoke at an event we were at on Thursday, and of course we had Mayor Parker there, we had Ed Emmett there, but we got to talking after the event, and you said you had a really interesting entree into real estate.
Yes, so this is actually my first career. Most people, real estate is their second or third career.
Right.
Yeah,
Really?
so I was 23 years old. I started my real estate career in New York City, of all places, shortly after 9/11. So I've lived through
good timing.
9/11, real estate. I've lived through the ups and downs. Most people see one or two ups and downs.
Right.
I've lived through 9/11. I lived through the downturn in 2008, 2009. And then the upcycle that we're going through now, which has just been amazing. So I moved back to Houston in 2005 and got my real estate license here. So I started in New York City, worked in high-rise buildings.
That's a very different market there because they don't have an MLS in the city itself. It's broker to broker where you actually have to know everybody, and it's
Right.
all about relationships, which is really what it is all about. But I can't even imagine working without some sort of system. just didn't have it. Long Island has it. I know that. Long Island has one of the largest MLSs out there.
What was amazing about New York City, I lived in New York City for a year, is, I've never been to a place in which I have to pay $5,000 for 500 square feet.
Right.
Oh, you got a deal then, huh?
And I got a deal on that one, by the way.
Oh, wow. So let's talk about you're a new generation of realtor and a new generation dealing with probably a new generation of buyers. How is it different from like maybe the Xers or the Boomers?
Well, I would say that our new generation of buyers has the ability to have all the information at their fingertips. And so we really have to work hard to add our value to that because they can get a lot of the information themselves. But what we bring to the table is our level of negotiation, our ability to get them what they want because they don't know how to go about it. And that's through relationship building.
Yeah, I think that what I often say is that you can get the information, but you can't get the experience. And that's our right. Value-added proposition, and again, you can throw a rock down the street and hit a house. It's not hard to find a house. It's just hard to get them closed, and I know Chris can attest to this because you run up all sorts of challenges every day in your business.
Well, the market. What I tell everybody, the most common question everybody comes to me and says, "Hey, Chris, is it true no one can get a mortgage nowadays?" No, everyone can get a mortgage nowadays. You have to provide the correct documentation to get a mortgage nowadays. Right. But, one of the things I always like to ask, all of our agents is probably the thing we struggle with the most is the variety of appraisals we get back. How have you been seeing that in your marketplace right now?
We have had some challenges with that this year. The market really has exploded, and I think the appraisals have not caught up to the level of growth that we've had. And so we've had some challenges, but we work with the appraisers, the lenders, the clients to make everybody happy in the end, the sellers. Right. And we've been really successful. We have not had a deal fall through this year because of appraisal. Yeah,
and I've talked to appraisers and economists and stuff. We're really on track in some areas of town, not all areas, but 1% per month, which is about 12%, which is pretty significant.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But the thing is, when we were trending downwards in like 2008, 2009, the appraisers had taken into account, well, you're trending down, so we're going to give you lower. But we've been trending up for quite some time, but they're not giving credit for trending upwards. So They're just being very, very conservative. And, of course, with CFPB, pre-appraisal, we're not really supposed to have conversations with the appraisers anymore.
That is correct.
Do you find, with kind of the public perception, at least I get a feel for, is that, everybody kind of has a sense that the market here in Houston is just going crazy. And do you deal with or find issue with people that are upset or surprised or whatever the word might be there that their house hasn't skyrocketed in value when they go to list it with, and have to deal with those expectations of?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that's always a concern in our market. It doesn't matter if we're in an up cycle or down cycle. Everybody always thinks that their property is worth more than it is. And it's really, really about the education.
Well, I saw it on Zillow. It said it's worth $3 million. And you're telling me it's worth $2 million?
There's still the best I want to say cartoon of all time. It's like the different visions of how they see it, right? Yeah. How the homeowner sees it, how the seller, how the agent sees it, how the appraiser sees it, how the lender sees it, how the government sees it.
I've seen that.
And the government has like a White House.
Well, let's bring it. We had Kurt Beardsley on with Zillow, and hopefully Kurt's listening. It's a conversation you have to have sometimes with the client. They do go on Zillow. I mean, it's a number one website in the country, but not in Houston. We're number one in town with HAR.com. But how do you handle that dialogue with them? Is that, it's a estimate, but here's the facts. And they want to argue with you.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. I would say that we approach it from a very professional standpoint. Very gently, we show the facts. We show them what sold recently in their area that's a direct comp to them. If there's not a comparable property that's sold, then we really go through step by step and dissect their house and say, okay, you have X number more bedrooms. Your property is located in this much of a better lot or location. So it's really about using your knowledge, resources, other agents. We're all in competition, but we really work well together, especially if you work at Martha Turner or some other amazing firm. And I would just say using our resources is how we determine what it should be. And if it's priced right, it's going to sell quick these days.
And you mentioned an incredible firm. I want to talk to you a little bit about this. Talk a little bit about the transformation that Martha Turner has had. I mean, one of the things, pioneer in the industry, been around a long time.
Awesome woman.
An incredible
woman.
individual.
Yeah.
Obviously created this great organization, and now you've actually morphed into a new organization. I don't want to say new organization, but you've now expanded those into now, which is Sotheby.
Yeah, which is part of the Realogy family.
That is correct.
Coldwell
How is
Banker,
that
and,
place?
ERA, and all those other companies. So,
Correct. How has that transformation been? And talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
It's been really exciting. I would say, when I first started working for Martha Turner, I was overjoyed. I thought I had really made it at that point. And then you add Sotheby's to the brand, and we were the powerhouse really in Houston for boutique firms, small firms, self-made, and then you add this big name to it that everybody knows, and it just, this international presence that we have, it's amazing. It's been fun.
Yeah, well, they've been a remarkable firm, and Martha is certainly an icon in this industry, and somebody I admire a lot. And she is somebody I would always want to emulate.
Yes,
She's done such a great job. So, now, talk about your personal business. Tell me, do you have a niche that you're focusing on, or Larry's over here taking a selfie? That's okay.
Hey, that's all part of it.
we had somebody came to a dead stop the other day and just stopped talking because we were doing selfies, and then our producer held up the fingers like that, and poor Nancy first was going, "What?" So,
gang signs.
Gang signs. Anyway, but talk about your personal business. Tell me, do you have a focus or an area that you work on?
I would say that my focus is really selling a lifestyle. And the lifestyle that I'm trying to sell is living close in, working close in. So if that means Memorial, River Oaks, Bel Air, West U, Braeswood, Meyerland Heights, all those areas are areas that I'm really focused on. I really have an amazing sphere and group of clients that I work with. And we're really selling a lifestyle. That's what I'm selling.
And it's a common theme for us. We talk about it. That's what people aren't buying houses.
Yeah,
they are
people are buying the
lifestyle.
lifestyle. They're buying areas, they're buying lifestyles, they're buying areas they want to be within and work within and play within. And the other thing that's happening lifestyle-wise, maybe you can talk about this, over in that area, Bel Air, Meyerland, the amount of redevelopment now that's going on. It's we're actually seeing Houston expanded outwards for many years, right? And they're continuing to expand outwards. I'm not saying... But talk a little bit about what's going on Interloop now about that redevelopment standpoint.
Yeah, I would say that Meyerland, Bel Air, that whole area is just growing in leaps and bounds. I mean, even people that didn't think Braeswood, which was a really, undervalued area.
It's not a gang sign.
Okay, that's 2 more minutes. A really undervalued area. I think people are really seeing the value in it because the lots are so big.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas in West U, you've got 5,000 square foot lots. In Braeswood,
if you can find one.
If you can find one. In Braeswood or Meyerland, you've got 10, 12, 15,000 square foot lots, and these are 5 minutes to the Galleria.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Willow Bend's kind of the same area. For a long time, it was very low end. Westbury, it's all starting to come back now because of the proximity to other great subdivisions like Meyerland and things like that. And I think people want to be close in. And we had, and of course, Hillary and I were at this function. We had Ed Emmett at the event. He talks about infrastructure. Where are we going to put all these people? If we're having 1,200 people per day,
right,
per day, and they're usually in front of me on I-10 by the way in the morning.
Right.
But
we're just going to say we're going to put them on 45.
Yeah, we're going to send them up 59.
Keep them on 59.
And Joe has a pretty big house. He meets those people there quite often.
Keep them on 59.
Maybe we ought to have a wave station for these people. They can stop and get a cup of coffee, use the restroom as they come in. But I think a lot of your clients are probably saying, you know what, I don't want to. My lifestyle is I do not want to sit in traffic for an hour or 2 hours every day. They're missing a lot. I think you hearing
That's
that?
Right. Yeah, I live in Afton Oaks, so I live really close in. My daughter goes to school less than a mile away. My office is a mile away. I'm not only practicing what I preach, but, I'm selling what I want, and it's easy to sell something that you're confident
Yeah,
in.
you don't even have to sell. I always tell people I'm a really terrible salesperson, but I'm a great educator.
Right.
And I'm going to give you enough information that you're going to make a good decision. And I've always approached it that way. It's just, to me, people don't buy something typically, but they were sold.
Right.
That is true.
There's something they want, and you found them what they wanted because you drilled down and found out what's important for them, and then found it for them.
I'm going to be like horrible to shop for the next house I buy because I literally cross over 1960 to go to my office.
Yeah. Well, Kim,
it's like a quarter-mile drive.
Kim,
so.
we're still working on
Kim,
it for
don't
that
worry,
new house.
we'll find a place. We will find something for you. You know what's happening right
You
now,
guys
though?
have really slacked off on that.
We
by the way.
actually had the 30-second given to us 30 seconds
And
ago.
she's going to do this in a minute.
Jazz hands.
So we have a great guest in studios right now. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
I can make the rain go anytime I move my finger. Lucky me, can't you see? I'm in